It says we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Got Matt, or the guy who's not lying down here, and me, VW Bricks. Jeff. I don't know why I say VW Bricks. You know who I am. Anyway, we are live. Our 150th chat. So I'm just looking in the stream. Everything looks like it's okay. Nothing's being covered. Okay, I can close that. Officially live on YouTube because I just checked. Anyways, so welcome. We got 3 people watching already. My phone just told me we're live as well. So, you know, everything's live. Hello, Seth. Welcome. So we've got these topics to talk about tonight, but we have another one too because a bomb just dropped on our lap earlier today. So I'm just going to do this and change the image completely, and the whole thing. Bricklink is trying to screw around with us. Matt's going to maybe find the time to read it. You might not, but I can explain it later. Hello, Battery Powered Bricks. Welcome. And by us, I mean mainly sellers, but people that collect older sets as well. So we'll get into it. I'm going to wait till a few other people join up. David Sincere should be joining us shortly. Maybe we'll leave a spot for him there. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll leave a spot for him. But the big news up until this morning was Peppa Pig. No, it was Peppa Pig. Duplo sets. That was the big news until this morning.
I missed the Peppa Pig. What's the news with Peppa Pig?
There's Duplo. They're doing a Duplo conjunction with
okay.
We're trying to think of the company. Hasbro and Lego are doing another joint thingy like they did with Transformers.
Cool. That's fun.
Yeah, so they're also Peppa Pig is also going to be in some of the European parks. They're going to create a little park or area for Peppa Pig, which is some kids show about pigs. But yeah, then we got LugBulk news. Well, there's a lot of LugBulk conversations going on right now. There's the space sets that were kind of the unknown 3 space sets at least. Well, okay, 2 are unknown. One of them we've seen links for. This morning was definitely simpler times compared to this afternoon. With that Bricklink stuff, I just spent the last hour updating my stores to be prepared for it. Still not 100% sure what's going on, but I think there's some people jumping to conclusions based on some of the pictures that were shown or some of the text in there, and I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but sellers are basically running around.
Lego fans overreacting to things. I'm shocked to hear.
Well, no, this one I think is a valid reason to overact.
Okay.
Because they're removing things from the catalog. They're merging items together.
Okay.
And these are items that are physically different. They have different properties. For example, click hinges. Some of them have 9 points of articulation. Some of them have 7. In other words, they click 7 times versus 9 times. They're merging the 2 together.
Oh.
So if you bought a set, or if you have a set that you want to build from 20 years ago or 10 years ago when they were using the 7-click thing, and in the future you go on a Bricklink, the inventory is going to show that it was the 9-click version, the 9-tooth version.
Yeah.
So A, you might not have the right parts. B, you might buy a used set off of someone, and and you realize it doesn't have as many teeth, or it has, it doesn't match. So then you complain to that person you're buying off of. Right?
Yeah, that sounds bad. I have to admit.
Yeah, that's like a simple solution answer, but anyway, we'll get into it. Anyways, we've got 5 people watching, so hello everybody. Yeah, we've also got news about there's a couple of cool mocks that came out this week that people made. The Golden Dragon. I don't know if you saw it, Matt. That was in the Brisbane Lego event.
What was it again?
It was a huge golden dragon that's made up of tiles and stuff.
I think I did see that.
Gorgeous. So there's stuff to talk about. I mean, like I said, yesterday when the Peppa Pig news came out, I was like, "Is this our news for this week? Like, really?" Thankfully, it was
all Peppa all the time.
All Peppa all the time. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, why don't you tell us about what you've been doing for the past little while I quickly pull up some images.
Sure. So I've been when I moved into the house I live in now, which was about almost 7 years, it'll be 7 years in September. I moved in with a large bin of unsorted Lego I just bought off Facebook Marketplace, and then I bought another large bin, and then I just had some stuff. Hey, hello, David.
Hey, Matt.
And so I had 2 large bins of unsorted Lego that have been just sitting in my office for 6 years, and I said, this is the time to sort them. So I have been sorting by color, and I got the color sort all done, and so now it's time to get the color put into the. I'm going to flip my camera here for a second. So get the pieces put in. So like I've got the color kind of sorted out, and I'm colored then shape. So I've been sorting into subcategories while watching old movies the last couple of weeks, and so I'm up here in the room tonight trying to get this all put away, and that's what I've been working on. And I also been rearranging shelves in my Lego Star Wars office. So I have a lot of the UCS sets in my office where I do work, and I finished the UCS Venator build this last week, and it's large. So it's large, and it's tall enough that I had to raise a couple of the shelves up, and I use the IKEA bow axle system, so you can adjust them clicks up or clicks down, but once you move one section, like the whole row of shelves has to come up, and there's like five pieces across. So I moved them all up, and then I'm like, you know what, the one above it also needs to go up a click. So I ended up taking like practically almost everything off one side of my office just to move things up like one click so that the Venator fit in. So it's been like, I don't know, I'm an old school kind of even pre-video game where they used to have these like puzzles you could buy. It was like a perfect square, and it had 9 things, but there were 8 tiles, and you'd have to move them around to make the picture. I feel like my last 2 weeks are like solving one of those puzzles, because I'm sorting Lego, I'm having to find where it's going to go, and then I built a big set that I want to display permanently. So like, where's that going to fit? So it's like, as soon as I create space for something else, then it's like, oh, I need to take care of this other thing over here. But
space.
We got 2 weeks before Mr. Van Winnen arrives. So
yeah, do you not have anything to build? Like,
what's that?
Do you not have anything to build for the show?
It's all stuff that's built. I'm taking the mosaic, which is in boxes, which I will get out and assemble on the living room floor in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. And then I have the Jetsons Tower, which was put into boxes after the last show, which is currently in the room you're going to sleep in. So that's going to come into the Lego space. I'm going to build it mostly back together just to make sure I remember where everything goes, so that when it comes to the day, Thursday or Friday, to take it over to the display area, it'll take me less time. I'll have it like half put together, and I can just put it on like a roller cart and just roll it up, and like it's tall enough that I can't take it over fully assembled, but I could take it over partially assembled and not have to worry too much about things falling over. So I'm going to work on basically, like pre-assemble in the next 2 weeks. That's the goal, is just to make sure everything's kind of squared away. But no, I don't have anything I'm trying to beat a deadline on. Everything I'm showing is this year stuff I built in last year, the year before.
As we're talking, I'm looking at the calendar. I still have 2 weeks technically.
Yeah.
2 weeks today, I'll be probably somewhere in Kentucky.
Yeah, it opens Thursday. Today's Wednesday, so it's 2 weeks tomorrow. I like to make it sound shorter because that kicks me in the butt to get more stuff.
Yeah, I hear you 100%.
I'm not trying to panic you or anything. I'm just
no. I've basically brought 2 modules of the castle upstairs. I've got 3 empty bins upstairs. I've got, I don't know how well to transpose, but I've got castle bits laying on these tables here.
Okay.
I still have to put the jousting area together so I can box that properly into a box. But I'm slowly moving stuff upstairs because, I can't, my bins are massive and I can't carry them up the stairs. So I literally empty the bin out, bring it upstairs, pack it back up, like bring the stuff upstairs individually,
Okay.
pack it upstairs, and then on the morning I'm leaving, because it's winter, the morning I'm leaving, I'll basically take it from my living room or my dining room, put it on the dolly in my back sunroom area, wheel it out to the trailer so that it stays as warm as possible before we leave. Because if it's cold out, I'm afraid if my sunroom's too cold, then the boxes will get a little more brittle.
Mm.
And these boxes are stronger than the ones I brought to Alabama 2 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, 2021, 3 years ago, I guess. These boxes are stronger, but the ones I brought to Alabama, when I got there, I had like 3 or 4 bins that had just shattered.
Oh, the bins, the plastic and
the plastic bins. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I had those
thinking,
big
I was
clear
thinking
walls.
cardboard usually handles temperature.
Yeah, yeah, no. I don't know if you can see this bin here. It's like a clear. These are like $11 Home Depot bins.
Yep.
That they're clear, which was great. They fit a base plate nicely, a 32 base or 48 base plate. I believe they did. But when they get cold, they don't survive. They just crack. So I lost a lot
Yeah,
of lids.
clear plastic usually don't like
Yeah,
extreme temperatures. They
cold,
either extreme cold or extreme heat.
Yeah.
They don't handle it well.
yeah, yeah.
I already posted that, Jeff.
Oh, sorry, I was too busy not paying attention. Apparently, that's why we have orange bricks on the screen here. Yeah. So yeah. And how have you been, Mr. Dave?
Good.
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 That's it. Just
Been
good.
busy.
Busy.
Okay. One moment. One
And,
brief moment.
and I got a space.
Nice. Well,
Didn't you already have one? Oh no, that
No,
was me.
I
Forget it.
no, I didn't have one. So I went to Walmart this weekend. Yeah,
Okay.
because it was my son's birthday, so I had to get him a
You
gift.
bought yourself something.
And I bought myself something. I didn't find what I was looking for him, but
Well,
Sorry.
I see your space set. I raised you 2 parts packs.
Ooh. I haven't seen those in person yet.
Oh yeah, they've got the. Hold on. It's funny because I ended up ordering them on Bricklink as well. But keep on talking, Sincere. It'll take me a minute to get this out.
Well, David, you will empathize with this, but the other thing that happened, I didn't think about this before, but I busted my skates walking shop.
yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
My brand new skates arrived yesterday, so I drove over to the store, got them baked, got them sharpened, and tomorrow we go to our first open skate session. And so I'm actually really excited because the last pair that I had were like really pretty cheap skates. At the time that the ones before died, money was just tight, and somebody in my league was like, here's some cheap skates, $75. You know, he's like, I'm not gonna use these. So at the time I was like, okay, $75, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Price. But they really were not very good skates. So I bought a clearance of like a previous model of a pair that were $700 for half price. I wasn't going to spend
Canadian.
I usually do that also. I usually when I need to change skates, I usually go for the end of the line, half price. But I still pay a lot of money because whatever level you're playing, your skate is the one piece of equipment you need to invest on.
Yeah.
I would think ice. Oh no, that's not equipment.
Having skated on the cheap skates for basically the last 2 years, I was definitely wanting a higher quality skate. So I got a pretty expensive skate at a really nice price, but I still spent, by the time I paid for shipping, it was $400. But I'm really looking forward to just stepping on the ice tomorrow and being like, yes, boots that don't flex, because I'm not I'm not a small man. Boots that don't flex when I put all my weight.
That's the big difference, because cheap skate, the first year they're gonna be pretty solid.
Stop calling him a cheapskate. He just said he bought the expensive ones. Don't call him a cheapskate.
Yeah. But if they're gonna hold for the first year, but entering the second year, they're gonna get loose. They're gonna get pretty. So you need to invest in good skates, because good skates are going to last you like for the next 10 years probably.
I don't want to be overly pessimistic, but I was like, these
hockey?
could be my last new skates I ever buy. I mean, like I'm in my 50s. Like I don't know how long. I hope I can
Yeah,
go.
well, you'll probably
a
break a
while.
hip between now and no. I'm
I
just joking.
might. You never know.
Or an ankle.
Or an ankle. Oh, wow.
I told
It happened to me.
told my husband, I'm like, they're coming tomorrow. They're coming tomorrow. Like, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. And they came, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the skate shop right now so I can get in and out before traffic, you know. And he goes, this is the most excited I've seen you in quite a while. He's like, you're like a kid on Christmas. And I'm like, I am pretty excited about this. Anyway, sorry for the detour.
No, it's okay. So that set comes with a bunch of these guys.
Oh, I got those off the picker.
Oh, so that's why you bought them, because of your Telus building.
For my Telus building. These ones, right? Because these are
the 3 prongs, yeah.
Yeah, but they're very small.
Yes, I got an entire pick-a-brick container of them. An entire container. The large one, the new paper box. They were at the Disney Springs pick-a-brick mall. So hopefully they'll be showing it at other Lego stores. I've only seen them at the Disney Springs store so far.
Yeah.
But I mean, those parts, as you know, because you're a bricks and pieces guy, those parts are not cheap on an individual basis.
Yeah. See, originally I thought you meant. I thought you meant. Let's see if this will work. I don't know. Where's the damn camera? The stem there.
Yeah.
That's the one I thought you originally meant. But this set also comes with the little bar guy in Toulon.
The double-ended.
The double-ended, yeah. It's technically, it's almost, if it was hollow, it would be like a hose connector for Technic or pneumatics. But like I was debating between these two for trees, and most people are voting for this thing. But as you guys were talking, I realized that I can use 3 of those bars and stick them on the ends of this little tree thing, and get this.
Ooh.
Which is kind of interesting. And so now I'm going to play with that, because I think the little guy is too small. These ones are too plain. I'm trying to get like a fuller tree.
Yep.
For my building, but I'll show some pictures in a second. Dave, did you finish telling us what you've been doing, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes,
I wasn't listening.
I got
I bought a set, and I'm kind of disappointed to see that it's plastic bags. I wanted the
some of the new sets are paper. They're still. My thought is that whatever plants are producing the sets, they're going until they run out of plastic bags, and then they switch over to paper. Right. So if Creator is made, like I think the Creator roller skate set or one of those is made has the paper bags. So that might just be coming from a different plant. That would be my guess. But,
I would have assumed that all 2024 sets would have the paper.
Well, I mean, new grade, old grade wasn't a clean switch over either for Lego.
Is that right?
There was a few. There was a few
No,
sets.
that's the worst part, because people were getting they even in the same set you would get the 2 shades of gray in the same sets. So that's why people were pissed off, because
yeah, that would be upsetting. I would be unhappy about that.
Yeah. All right, so I will throw up. Because my building is.
Don't throw up.
My building's over there. It's heavy. I'm not moving the darn thing. But and yes, I swore I said darn. But I will throw up some darn. I will throw up some
darn. But Jeff, I saw that you put up the sign. Is it a sticker or?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
How do I get full screen on this?
When?
Once I figure out how to go full screen on this, I can't. Oh, F12. Hello.
If only you worked for a telecom.
So basically, thank you. Basically, that was where I was a few weeks ago or a week ago. I'm just pointing this out because it's hard to see, but there's gaps in this area here, and there's gaps over here. Obviously, those gaps are easier to see, but that was part of my goal this week as well, was to fill those gaps. Let's not go there in any rude ways.
Mind the gap.
Yeah. So I had to build. That first picture was without the mechanical room on
Jeff
top.
wanted to fill the gap.
Yeah. So I added the mechanical room on top, and my first attempt at the glass wall that's there as well. I
I
have a
wasn't
picture of the
thinking
actual.
dirty until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I know. I was. That was the point.
Well, I will say that one of the things that I've come to notice as I build more is the cleverness of hiding things, right? So like you find out ways to hide gaps and things like that. And some people are very creative in the way they do it.
For sure. These clear pieces here denote where the logo would be. So as I was working on this, I zoomed in a bit. Oh, there we go. That's nothing. I started with a brick built TELUS logo. So during this, I've contacted my company. I work for the company. I needed to verify, like I wanted to say to them, hey, I'm putting your logo.
You want it to be kosher.
I want it to be, because I work for the company. I don't want to get fired for using something that I'm not allowed to use, and it is a trademarked thing. So I did contact them. They said, yeah, sure, no problem. It took a few days, but I actually have a legal document with the company right now for trademarking that it expires on December of this year. So I've got basically a year's document that says I can use the TELUS logo. After that, I don't know what I'll have to do. But I originally brick built it just to see what it would look like, and I have the sample ones here as well. But that's what the actual building looks like, and obviously it's a little nicer. And there's a bunch of scaffolding behind here. I still want to try and figure out how to do, because I need some more darkness. You notice how bright and green this is? This logo?
It's pretty bright.
The printed version isn't that well. It isn't that great because it's unclear. So anyway, so yeah, there was my attempt at that. I was trying to figure out how to do the T. So I pulled out a couple of the bendy hoses. In fact, the Bricklink order I got in earlier today has like 7 long of those bendy hoses, which I now don't need. But that was my original first attempt to use those guys. There's another picture of the bendy hose. My kid fast asleep while playing.
You don't need them yet. You don't need them yet.
I was doing a tree study as well for microscale trees, so there's a few of these that I did. So yeah, I'm starting to get rid of the gaps. So I use the gutter pieces here to fill in that gap, and then I started looking at this gap, which I also filled in, but coincidentally, similar piece. TELUS logo again. Yeah, so now I've got all the gaps filled in on the roof as much as I can. I mean, there's still a couple of little holes, but
I would say that in official sets, there's two sets that come to mind. One was the boutique hotel where it comes in at an angle and meets, and then the other one was one of either Monkey Kid or Ninjago City, where they have some things come in at a kind of a funky angle. And the way that the builders made it all work out and connect so it'd still be solid. Yeah. I was just like, this is brilliant. I don't think I would have ever figured this out on my own.
Yeah. I actually did originally try with the wedge plates, because there are some ways you can wedge plate these together. But to have a cleaner line. But it was just too much extra support I would need to hold them all.
Okay.
So anyway, I obviously built this set this week because, well, at least I did build this set. Anyway, again, playing with tree designs. I kind of like this one. No one else seems to, which is fine. I get it. I just like this because it fills up more space, because technically these trees are they're maples.
It looks like, though, compared to the one adjacent to it, that it needs more stem on it to get it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing.
You see, that's why it doesn't look like a tree. It looks like a
shrub.
Yeah, a shrub. Okay.
Shrubbery.
Yeah. Anyway, so I actually now have the TELUS logo on here, and that was my first attempt. So there's some air bubbles, but you can see how unbright that green is.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of it is I think my printer might be getting low on color. Like I've got the warning on. The part is that logo actually has white in it. And because I don't have a printer that prints white, like this sticker, and again, sticker is just the temporary possible solution. I might still do a printed thing. I also did put the logo down at the bottom of the building. Ideally, this again is white, but I got it. I ended up taking the black version, so I have the official high res pictures for my office now of the logos and stuff.
Would it be worth trying printing the logo on a white background and just putting that on as a sticker? Or I know you probably don't want to do that. So.
Well, it like ideally these letters, like in the actual building, these letters just stick up. They're supported, like there's nothing behind them, right?
Okay.
Like they're just supported from the ceiling or from the roof. And the up top, the stickers are or the logo sticks out from the building. So a couple other tree designs I had going. Again, just playing with things.
I like the first one. I like
this one here.
Yes.
This one here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot too.
Okay.
It reads as a micro tree very well.
Yeah. Like I said, I was just playing with different ideas. I did find that these three stems, these three plant pieces, because they have those little knobbies on them, that you could actually get them onto that little tiny tree area. But anyways, I'll probably go with the one that everybody likes because I'm trying to please everybody.
Kind of win over the crowd,
like usually.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing with. I haven't touched that really since. I added some items to my store this week as well.
So there you go, folks. Jeff is a crowd pleaser.
I'm a crowd pleaser. Yes.
He's a slave to the popular will.
So going back, we got 12 people watching now. So going back, we actually have. This was the original banner today. Thankfully, we had Lego Space News and Lego LugBulk talk today, because otherwise it would have been Duplo Peppa the Pig. I know I've said this already, but for those of you that were joining us, let's be happy.
We're going to roast the pig.
In the past hour, we've had another topic come up.
Yeah.
And that's Bricklink.
Yeah, I got the email from Bricklink, and then I saw your.
Oh, because you're selling parts too. Yeah. So okay. So anyway, we will talk about that as well. This one I'm going to save a little bit, just because we're going to have a couple of rants easily tonight because of this or in LugBulk. But anyways, hey Jeff, how are you doing?
We have rants.
We have rants. Yeah, we do. So anyway, so I guess we've kind of talked about everything we've done. So why don't we jump into the news so we can get rid of that? Which that sounds good. Hey, let's get rid of the damn news.
Get rid of the news.
And
this week in the news.
This week in the news. So we'll start off with our usual Lego Ideas stuff. This one I find kind of cute. Lego Friends Hello Kitty, Lego Ideas Hello Kitty, 50-year archive. I knew I read Friends somewhere. That's why I said that way. But anyways, so someone has built Bulldozer, has built a Hello Kitty themed Lego idea set, which I think is pretty fun. Although in my head right now, I have Avril Lavigne's Hello Kitty, You're So Pretty song going through my head, let's just not even go there. But anyways, if you haven't heard it, it's a brain. What do you call that when they get stuck in your brain? And
earworm.
Yeah, it's an earworm. Anyways, anyways, I thought that was kind of cute. I mean, that would definitely sell a lot of sets, I think. I don't know if it would actually get the licensing go through or stuff, but and I don't know enough about Hello Kitty other than the fact that it's a cute little animated cartoon that gets. Actually, you know what? Hello Kitty would probably be. Lego could go with Hello Kitty because I'm thinking Hello Kitty is marketed so much in Japan and areas like that. They'll put that cat on anything. So I'm going to kind of say it. This one has a good chance of becoming a set.
I mean, and it's super popular. In Asia, super popular. They even have entire stores dedicated to Unikitty. No, not Unikitty, but
Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Yeah.
And as soon as we started doing the news, we dropped down to 8 people instead of 12. So apparently, people don't like the news. Nope.
People came for the hockey skate talk. Let's just.
Yeah. It was that sharp talk that they were here for.
Oh, pun intended.
Anyway.
I will say, I'm a cat person. I have 2 cats in my house, and I would probably go for some Hello Kitty stuff. It's fun, and it really is. a brand that appeals to both some adults, but certainly a lot of kids as well. So I could see
And a lot of Asian teens.
Yes.
Yeah. So they would kill on sales of this, I would think. And I mean,
Yeah, it would be like that Asian group that the what's it
BTS.
called? Yeah,
Yeah, I
BTS.
never have actually heard how those sets have sold.
Well,
No.
the first wave sold out pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
And then they made more, and then went, oh wait.
I mean, part of it's that the BTS members are all doing their military service and they weren't around it. They're not touring. They're not able to do any promotional work. So I think the arrival, the timing of the arrival of the Lego sets was not ideal for marketing purposes, but
interesting. Yeah. Okay. And Jeff's mentioning that Hello Kitty was also once a Mega Block license.
Ooh.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Rival.
He's right.
All right. Next up, we have Lego Ideas Dr. Seuss, The Grinch. This one actually kind of was a couple of days after our last chat that it came up. So, which is an interesting idea. For some reason, I feel like we have a Grinch character, but I know we don't. But that just looks like I don't know. In my head, that just looks like something that already exists. So this is by Ben Builds. It's built based on the credible story of the Grinch, who stole all the presents from Whoville. And the sleigh opens up and contains a whole bunch of presents in it. Like the big bag opens up with a whole bunch of stuff inside. And it comes with the what's her name? Sally? I'm trying to think what the character's name is. The girl. I don't remember. Sally's in my head, but I don't know if that's
no, it's Cindy Lou.
Cindy Lou Who. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Good memory.
You passed the Christmas. He just watched that last week, probably. It comes with her house. So
Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah. And this one actually dropped this morning. Lego Ideas Medieval Tournament. Of course, because we can't have a Lego Ideas round without castle-related content, which I'm not complaining about. But this was
put that in front of your castle.
I already have a jousting area in front of my castle, but I mean, I have buildings similar to this. They're not as nice though. That looks a lot nicer. So this is built by Hello Azul. 2,887 pieces. Features some castle towers along with an archery and jousting field, along with spectators. So it's quite nice. I like it.
The only thing is, it needs to really have like a jouster that's had his arm ripped out of the socket and like a bloody stump. Like that would really sell it. But I don't think Lego's going to go there. So.
Yeah, I can understand that logic. And it's all modular pieces, or not modular pieces, but individual parts. So.
And the knight is saying, "What? What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?"
Unfortunately,
it's only a flesh wound.
It's only a flesh wound.
Unfortunately, I don't think the set will get created because there's a ghost in it, and Lego doesn't do the ghost anymore, as far as I know.
Is that right?
Well, I don't know if they have. When's the last time we saw a ghost in a set?
Well, we've had all these glow in the dark things that look kind of ghostly in my mind, but I guess.
Well, we've had the ghost mold in the past, but I'm just saying I don't think I've seen that ghost for quite some time.
Well, they could bring back the ghost.
I know. I'm just being sarcastic. Jeez. I want Hello Kitty. Well, this one is Lego Ideas has also got another small build contest on their site for exploring the cosmos, and this will be like an insider, like a gift for purchase set you would be building for. So because Lego's doing such a spacey, a bunch of space stuff right now, the Lego Insider program wants people to build sets with 150 to 250 piece range. It should be based on space exploration vehicles or planetary bases. This contest is running until February 21st. Builds will be reviewed before going out to the fan vote starting the week after, which is February 28th. And the winning build will be announced on March 13th. The grand prize winner will get 10 copies of their set, their gift of purchase, and then they also get the 5 sets shown above as well as a prize.
Cool.
So yeah, those are all pretty decent. Anyway, so if anybody's interested in building something small, go for it. Bricklink Designer Program. Bricklink. Anyways, the Series 4 submissions started a little while ago. They are ending shortly. So this is for I think we're in Series 2 right now. They end actually in 2 days on Friday, the 26th. And then the crowd support for those projects will start on February 5th, where people can vote on them. Coincidentally, February 7th is when you can start buying the round 2 sets. And as we can tell for the Series 3 sets, you don't need to create huge sets to be selected, as there can be smaller ones that can make the final cut as well. So you don't have to build massive. Actually, building smaller might get you more votes too, because people can't afford the large sets, so they might vote for smaller ones. Just saying. All right. Animal Crossing sets haven't actually been released as of yet, but Lego has decided to create Japanese variants of the sets, just with Japanese writing on the boxes instead of English. Well, I'm assuming Animal Crossing is Nintendo product, so therefore came from Japan. So
I can already see the completists who are like, I need it with the Japanese lettering, so it's going to become like some Chase variant that someone obsesses over.
Yeah. So these sets will be released in March. Oh, screw off. Yeah. So exactly what Matt said. Sets are released in March, but if you're a collection completionist, there will be more to collect. Lego Japan has revealed that these will be available in Japanese. Pre-orders for the Japanese version started 4 days ago. There's also he's just making fun of me. Mom.
He's mean, Mom. Dave is being mean.
I guess like Matt. Dave's being mean to me.
Mean to me.
On Bricks on blah 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 Brick Fan. Lego did release a video about their paper packaging, a behind the scenes video. I have not had a chance to watch this yet personally, but they talked about it a few years ago. Sorry, I'm just reading this now. They have just released a behind the scenes video of the manufacturing process from the factory showing Lego bricks being packaged in bags. Europe and Asia have already had sets with the paper bags, and the Americas will be coming soon. So that's what's going on. The people with paper bags, they're European sets. So the stuff that Lego is shipping to all the social media people, the Lego fan media people, that's why they're probably getting them in paper bags as well, because I'm assuming
they're from Denmark.
They're from Denmark, yeah. Our packaging lines in Europe and Asia are already busy manufacturing new paper-based bags. The Lego sets in the Americas will follow shortly. So it looks like there's a link on Twitter. Is X actually still called Twitter as a website? Did he not change the name to X?
He did, but
he did, but not the URL. So. Oh,
really? So you still have to type in Twitter.
Yes.
Yep.
That's interesting. Actually, I have a Twitter thing up here I have one. I have an article from there.
I'm also just seeing many people ignore and just keep calling it Twitter. So.
Well, yeah, I know. I just saw it, and I don't use.
Yeah, nobody cares about the new name.
Yeah. Okay.
Except Elon Musk, of course.
Today, yes, folks, today is the last day for double VIP points, insider points. So it's currently 9:38 p.m. here. So you have like an hour or 2 hours and 20 minutes. Kai, sorry, you've already missed it because you'll be watching this tomorrow. So
sorry, Kai.
After. But anyway, so I did place an order on Friday night.
Oh, you did.
Saturday night at midnight. Yeah, I ordered the little John Deere combine set.
Why am I not surprised?
I like John Deere. I like tractors. Anyways, and I also ordered the Piranha plant, the Mario Piranha plant, because that's going to go up on my behind my couch with all my botanicals. That one's back ordered for 2 months, but my John Deere tractor will be coming in tomorrow.
Tractor freak.
Because I wanted to get the gift with purchase lion year of the dragon set.
The year of the dragon.
So, but Hex is like renaming the sports stadium. Exactly. Like the Sky Dome or the ACC or was who someone mentioned it. The others mentioned another one. Oh, Matt didn't know. Someone I was talking to someone today, and they mentioned a stadium that has an anyway. So yeah, double
I was
points.
talking to my students, and I said there was once a baseball football stadium named Three River Stadium. Nobody knew what I was talking about because that was Pittsburgh, and that stopped being used before any of them were born. So they all thought I was talking about like ancient history or something.
Yeah, and David Sincier's thinking of a place just up the road from them, Trois-Rivières, which is not up to the road. I know it's still a few hours away. Trois-Rivières? I can't say it right now. Three Rivers.
No. I was thinking you probably referring to Dave Cowdice rant about the Coliseum in Hamilton being.
Oh yes, that's what it was. Cops. Yes, it was Dave's chat. See, I knew I was talking to someone about it because I was talking to my computer. Yes, you're right. Dave mentioned Cops
Coliseum being renamed, and he says. Yeah, it's still called the Cops.
It's amazing that you watch videos now, YouTube videos, and you think you're having the conversations with people. Wow. Right, that
well, especially Dave, because he talks and he talks and he talks.
He's probably still at work. Sorry, Dave, we couldn't make it tonight. Is the Big O still the Big O? Where is the Big O? That's
the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Yes, it's still the Big O because we haven't figured out a way to put a roof on it. A decent roof on it.
So the O is for the big empty space, and
well, it's called the Big O because it's the Olympic Stadium, and it's shaped like a toilet bowl. So
and when I said the Big O, I was thinking of that stadium, and I'm like, I thought I had another name, but anyway. All right, so insider points. Last day to get yours. I think the gift.
Get yours today. Like and subscribe.
Okay, so Jay's Brick Blog. We're pulling this up because Jay is from
Asia.
He's from Australia area.
Well, he's
right.
Okay. He's from the I'm trying to think of the Oceanic area. I think that's the right term. Anyways, he went to Brickvention 2024, which happened this weekend, and this was revealed just before or the day of the show, which is the beautiful golden dragon that was built. And we'll get into, I think they'll probably say who built it here. This thing can uncoil to be like even longer than it is. It's completely flexible. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I don't know that
that's like very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's to my knowledge, it can uncoil. That's what I read.
So the fact that it kind of unfoiled, it's just amazing.
So it was in Melbourne, Australia, this event. It kicks off the Lego AFOL networking event circuit for the year. ANE, I've never heard of that before. And this is kind of going over some of the things that were happening there. So there's an ad for a hotel. Bricklink was actually there showing off some of the Bricklink Designer Program sets that are going to be available February 7th. And let's see what else there is. Oh, yeah. So, okay. If you've been on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you may have seen some of these. Again, absolutely gorgeous. The undeniable highlight was the Golden Dragon built by Donnie Chen to celebrate the Year of the Dragon. If a name rings a bell, it's because he's the fan designer of the Lego Ideas Grand Piano. So he's the one that created the Grand Piano. So, and this is basically using a whole bunch of the 2x4 oval tiles for all the scales and stuff.
Great job.
I wish that there was footage of the understructure, because to get those tiles all at angles, like I want to see.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There is. Somewhere I saw it, and I think it might have been on Instagram. I'll see if I can pull that up. But absolutely gorgeous, just the amount of detail in it. It's a serious work of art, tremendous achievement by Donnie Chen. I believe I added him to my Instagram. There's also these structures here.
Jeff's well, it's not a castle, but it's okay.
It is a castle.
No, I'm talking about the dragon.
Oh, the dragon.
And it's not an helicopter either. So
the dragon is gorgeous. It's not a tractor,
But it's not a helicopter.
So this castle is by Dale Harris with yellow and tan walls. Oh, beautiful.
Yellow Castle.
Yellow Castle, but that's using like the larger bricks. I'm trying to think what they're called now. The Quattro.
Quattro.
I think the foam bricks. There was.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Really?
I mean, there are some brick built sections in it, but I mean, they've done large scale figures. The supersized build of Yellow Castle and Friends by Michael Ballin. It blends Lego elements and larger soft bricks that you'll find in Legoland. Oh, they're the ones that are in the Legoland parks. Okay. Oh, someone built
the castle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it's called. I'm thinking Nuremberg is in my. Oh yeah, no, I knew it wasn't Nuremberg.
Nuremberg. Nuremberg. Is that it?
No, it's Neuschwanstein. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's the inspiration for the
Neuschwanstein,
where the actual builder was like, killed by his own, people or something because he was so eccentric and bizarre.
Yeah. So this is by Simon Schulten on display. It was made using the instructions for. So this is actually made from someone else's instructions on Rebrickable, which is kind of amazing that someone's took the time to build that out.
I did that. I built. I bought some instructions off Rebrickable and built a 13,000 piece cathedral, which actually I'm going to tear apart because I took it to 2 shows and nobody seemed to be all that impressed by it.
Didn't I kick it last week?
Both times I had to rebuild it, and the cats are kind of just taking it apart because they just run past it. But it's just so big. I only have so much room in the house, and so if I keep that put together, that means I don't have room to display other things.
It's coming from a guy who has a 10-foot mosaic in his house.
Well, it's in 2 boxes, so it's not put together.
I'm just bugging you. I personally don't get the Bluey thing, but I've never watched any Bluey episodes. Apparently, they're hilarious and people love them. But there was a Bluey mock at the event.
Okay.
So forgive me. Oh, hey, Jeannie.
Never heard of it.
The Dragon's amazing. Oh, Janie's saying Primo. Yes, Primo. Hey, Janie. We are getting to the Bricklink stuff shortly, because that might be why you're here. Anyways, I think there's a whole video on Bluey there. There's also some Disney stuff. Oh, beautiful. Peter Pan. This is all from Brickvention. Still, a bunch of smaller stuff. A bunch of T-shirts. Some Minecraft mocks. Wow, that's a bigger mock than I thought it was. And then there was people in cosplay. Lego built Mandalorian armor.
Cool.
I love it. Brick separators along his chest here. Love it.
Wow.
And some along the legs too as weapons, probably. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna go on to the next one because we're running low on time. Well, anyways, True North Bricks, our Canadian site that's for us. For news, is the first one to release a list of 2024 February sets coming out. So the Omnithopter is coming out February 1st, I think a few days later for non-VIP members. We also have the Kingfisher coming out, the new Family Tree Lego Ideas set, the Red London Telephone Box set, Brickheads of Groot and Iron Spider-Man, a couple of the Sonic characters and Stitch. And then, like we mentioned a little while ago, on the 7th, people can start pre-ordering the Lego Bricklink program sets.
Which I am totally a sucker for. I'm actually sort of a little. There's a lot of new sets coming out that I'm going to pass on, which is fine. I'm glad I'm not tempted to buy everything that Lego puts up. But the designer sets, there's a couple of those that I'm like, ooh, I would really.
Yeah, and these ones actually have a 30,000 max quantity to be purchased now instead of 10,000.
Okay.
So they'll hopefully last more than a few hours.
Yeah.
But I would still say February 7th while I'm still in the car driving to Alabama or to Atlanta. Wow, Alabama.
Sweet home Alabama.
Don't insult us.
I'm coming home to you.
The fact that Atlanta and Alabama are side by side, and I know Atlanta's a city and Alabama, anyway. But anyways, I get the two confused because that's the first place I went down south driving. So
You're just a stupid Canadian, hey?
I am.
Alabama is what we point to when we want to feel better about ourselves. So,
and where do people in Alabama point?
Mississippi.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the running joke, is that 49 of the 50 states are all like, well, thank heavens that Mississippi exists. There's always someone worse.
Wow. We have talked about the Lego Ninjago Microscale Ninjago City set before. It has been confirmed that it will be a gift with purchase, not something you can buy with VIP points unless you're in, I think it was China or Japan, one of those cities or one of those countries. It was
Again,
China.
mixing up cities and countries.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to let Dave run the show now. Anyways,
I don't want to run the show.
In China, you
enjoy the show.
Wow. Well, apparently you are by making fun of me continuously.
Hey, you make
China,
fun of me during shows, so.
Hey, I haven't put a crack in the comments or in the show intros for a while about helicopters. Just saying. Of course, now next week I probably will. In China you could buy it using insider points, but everywhere else is going to be a gift for purchase, and chances are it will be similar to the prices of the Houses of the World sets gift for purchase limits. So for Canada, I think that was like $340 spent in order to get these sets. It's $250 US, I believe it was. So, and again, there's no word on when this will be a gift for purchase, but it is coming up. Lego officially announced it as a gift for purchase. Anyway. All right. There's rumors of a Legend of Zelda Great Duco Tree set coming out this year.
Yes, I've heard the same rumors. So,
and the Brick Fan has announced it here, so I'm talking about it, which means it has come from a semi-valid source at least.
Yeah.
So 2,500 piece tree. If you're not familiar with the Great Dooku tree, which I am not, I'll be honest, it's the first introduced in the Ocarina of Time, and then later appears in the Wild Waker, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I've always wanted to play Zelda, and I've never gotten a chance to. Pricing is still unknown at this time, but expected to be around $300+ given the piece count and the licensing cost. Lego's been working with Nintendo brand with Super Mario, Donkey Kong, so it's not much of a surprise they're going to do Legend of Zelda as well. We'll finally complete the iconic trio of Nintendo characters. Lego fans have long awaited The Legend of Zelda because there's been lots of projects on ideas and stuff for it as well. Question will be really, is it going to have figs or not, or brick build characters? Who knows? If they do come out with figs, then I think the Lego community is going to start getting pissed because, Mario still hasn't come out as figs. Here's the original Lego news for this week. Lego Duplo Peppa the Pig was officially announced, and this literally was the announcement image. It has not actually, they haven't released set images or anything.
That's terrible.
Lego and Hasbro teamed up again this year by the officially announcing Lego Duplo Peppa the Pig coming in 2024. The first episodes of Peppa the Pig aired in May 2024, so this is the 20th anniversary of the show, with the sets will be revealed. So the sets will be revealed at a later time. This is not an official image by any means of sets. This is just some artwork that Lego has created. And literally, that's the news. Other than there is also
Pepa the Pig.
I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. There's also this part. The exciting collaboration will see Peppa the Pig come to life in Lego Duplo form for the very first time in Lego products, as well as incredible attractions and rides in Merlin theme parks. So in Germany and Denmark will be the first parks to get anything for this. And I believe including the world's only Lego Duplo Peppa the Pig area in Legoland Billund, and a brand new Peppa Pig park in Günzburg, Germany. So they, I'm assuming they'll roll out Peppa-related content to other parks in the future as well. So if they're putting it in the parks, to me, that's going to be a little bit of a longer term, like multiple sets over the years. Hopefully they sell. I'm assuming Duplo and Pepa go hand in hand together, but again, well, technically my kids would have been old enough to watch Peppa the Pig, but when they were kids, like when they were young, but I don't think we ever watched it. Okay.
I never saw it. I know my kids know about it, but
Space.
Shit.
So this week at the London Toy Fair, which is going on now, this is January 24th, so this is today. The Toy Fair opened today. There's some Lego space news coming out from the event from Brickset. As we know by now, Lego is celebrating the space theme this year, with sets being produced from City, Classic, Creator, Dreams, Duplo, Friends, and Technic. According to the graphic from the Toy Fair, it looks like Lego has made space sets for even more themes, such as art, icons, and the collectible minifigure line. Now, we've heard of the collector minifigure line there, so I'm going to actually open up the Twitter account post here because there was a better picture of it. And of course, I can't zoom in anymore. So,
Space.
So we have Lego City as a planet here that has those sets around it. We have the Dreams set here that has the Dr. Oz's flying car, or whatever it's called. The Friends set, which is like a Mars-like planet with a rocket. We have the Duplo, which has a small Duplo ship on there. The Creator sets, which shows the astronaut and the dogs, 3-in-1 set. The Technic set, Technic planet, which shows the VTOL spaceship that isn't out yet. The icon set, which is showing the space shuttle.
Shuttle.
But we haven't actually had a branded space theme in icons yet. And there's rumor that there may be a classic space, maybe possibly related set coming out for icons this year. Classic. I missed classic here. There's the classic, build parts out of sets out of parts. There's also a Lego art project coming out, which is expected to be the Milky Way. So it'll be some kind of a large Milky Way art item. So I don't know how that's going to look, but and last but not least, there's the little minifig island or planet here, which is basically a minifig head. I can't zoom in anymore, unfortunately. Actually, hold on. Open image, new tab. Let's just see if that works. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Take that, Twitter.
X.
So yeah, there's the minifig planet head. And again, these pictures have been leaked for the minifig sets, the minifig collectible set for March. Hopefully the images get announced by December or by February 8th, because there's going to be an addition to my Classic Space Mosaic that had better been news by then, or had better be.
You need advance warning.
What? I did have advance warning by the leak, but I'm just saying that
it needs to be out in 2 weeks.
I'm assuming they will announce it in the next week or two, anyhow. Because because those figs are available, I think for March, wasn't it? Or was it May? Maybe it's May.
I was told this wouldn't be on the test.
Well, you know what? It's a surprise question. Anyways, so yeah, that's the news for there from the space stuff. Okay, quickly over to Brothers Brick. Quickly, there's a few interesting builds here. A little dozer for those tiny little construction jobs. The dozer didn't get me that much, but the minifigure or the microfigures kind of did, because they got teacups for helmets. So I thought that was cute.
What if they slapped a John Deere logo on it? Would you buy it then?
No, because they don't make dozers.
Oh, okay.
I don't think, at least they might. But anyways, this is by Amazing Bricks. This is part of the Iron Forge competition. I didn't know there was one going on. So the scene utilizes many cups and vessels in its makeup. Oh, so these are all the small cups, the small mugs, teacups. Okay, so Iron Forge this time is cups. The goblet. Okay, it's making sense now. That explains some of the other ones too, because people have literally gone and built sets using cups. Oh, before we go into that, Brothers Brick is currently looking for new contributors, news writers, and graphic designers to join the team. If you're interested, hop over to Brothers Brick and check out the article for information. I'm if any of the 13 people watching that right now are interested, or are going to apply, tell them we sent you. No, I'm just joking, don't, because that'd be like, who are they? Deere does make construction equipment. Well, my apologies. I grew up on a farm, not in a construction site, so I know they do skidsters, I think. But,
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Anyways, okay, so speaking of the cup thing for Iron Builder, I started seeing these things. This is by Max Davidson, who's used a human-sized minifig cup to build a roof of a small dwarf building, a small gnome building, I should say. Sorry, any dwarfs if I've offended you. Again, part of Iron Forge, but again, using the human-sized mug. And this followed right after Nate Chills did a very similar thing for Classic Space.
I think that elf just insulted us.
Wow. I think you just insulted them worse. But anyways, yeah, so also a cup built Classic Spaceship using the blue cup. I thought that was quite creative. Although you can see some red inside, which, anyways, I'm going to be nitpicky apparently. Cosbricks, they just, they're not just.
I really, really like that ship.
I do too. I think it's cool.
With the cup, it's just amazing.
Agreed. So that's why it caught my eye. Break free of chains that bind you and turn them into a boat. So 80K has built this amazing mock that the entire middle part of it is built in chains.
Wow.
I'm zooming in. I'm grabbing the largest version here on Flickr.
Finally, someone's figured out what to do with all of those chains that I never use in my collection.
Look at this.
Wow.
I think, it's not 100% chain, but it's a very close to, 90% chains.
That's cool.
Chain.
It's like, it's using chain links as well. Like it's using the chains and then the treads. So yeah, it caught my eye as like a wow, for sure.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
900 years to wear down a temple, 7 days to build it out of Lego. This is by Classic Bricks, just like a really old, temple from years gone by.
Oh, love those tree roots. Oh.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Definitely.
Just using that. Yeah.
Is that a banyan tree? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. It's definitely an abandoned building. No, okay, that was a bad joke. Yeah. And last but not least, what if H.R. Geiger designed Lego Starfighters instead of the aliens?
Oh, yes.
This is built by Ted Andes, and that's just like, wow.
What I like about it is that this is a comment I've made many times before, is that I feel like in the area of space, I've seen so many different designs. It's hard to do something that looks really different, but this looks different. I mean, look.
Yeah, it has that organic feel to it.
Yeah.
Texture. Yeah.
It's like it definitely from an alien race.
And you can tell there's like Hero Factory and stuff like that weaved in to give it that. That's a nice look.
Yeah. So this is, like I said, Ted Andes on Flickr. I just started following him, although I don't go to Flickr all that often anymore. And he's got a bunch of, look at this too. That looks nice. Complete opposite of that, because it's nicely like big Technic panels and stuff.
Is he the one?
It's all rounded and like completely the opposite of the other mock. Yeah.
Yeah. What were we gonna say, Matt?
I think I saw. Yeah, he was at Brick World because he's got new Hashima stuff there.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming
and
that's.
I admired his work at Brick World. So
yeah, Brick World. Yeah. So anyway,
very cool. Very cool.
Oh, was that the end of news?
Oh, look at those yellow bricks.
Yeah, that is awesome, isn't it? So yeah, okay. Let's talk about the other subject. Wait, our rant. What was our rant about? Oh, the space. No, not space.
No,
We ran to
the
we haven't
BrickLink
talked about LugBulk yet. As
LugBulk,
well.
yeah.
But let's talk about BrickLink
No one
for a minute.
ever complains about LugBulk. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know. Okay, so BrickLink has decided that they need to clean up the catalog of BrickLink parts that has existed for years before Lego bought them out. And as a result, they're going to start merging parts together, like transparent frosted bricks, like the old transparent bricks, are just getting moved into the 1x4 brick with just a clear, transparent color. So I mean, things like that aren't that big of a deal. They're getting rid of all the smooth slopes, at least like so. Some of these like this 3x2 33-degree brick slope originally had a rough texture on it, and there were a few variants that came out that had no texture on it, so it was smooth and shiny. And as far as BrickLink is concerned, they're the same part. Which not really, because they do have a different texture and it does make a difference, especially if you have an old set that had the smooth parts and you now want to build that set or buy that set off of someone on BrickLink. What happens if they send you the wrong part? A, you're not going to necessarily know because BrickLink, that part no longer exists in smooth. And B, if you do know, then you're going to complain to the person saying this set isn't correct, isn't accurate to the date it was produced or whatever.
There's going to be a lot more emails saying like, hey, are you aware? It's like the 1x1 with the upright clip. There's actually 3 different versions of the upright.
Yeah, there's different lengths, right?
And you're going to have to, and even though currently the BrickLink catalog differentiates between the 3 upright clips, we're going to see people still don't pay attention and they list things in the wrong category.
For sure. They don't.
Basically, BrickLink's like, oh, here, we'll do it. We'll just all scrape it together in one category.
Yeah. So the funny thing was, years ago, we used to have an undetermined type category in some of these parts. So if you had a solution that you didn't know what it was, you could just throw it into that undetermined type, and it's up. If someone wants to buy it, then hey, that's your risk if you get the right one or not. And they got rid of those. And now they're trying to get rid of the other variations. So some of these 3x2 inverted slopes, they have different patterns here on the studs. Like stuff like this might not make a difference in a build necessarily, like where these supports are.
No, not in a build, but if you're trying to put together like an old set,
exactly,
a vintage
you're not gonna
set,
have,
and you're like Dave Cowdice and you want all those real vintage parts, you're going to be bugged by it because you're going to see that it's not all these vintage parts, especially the inverted slopes there, that the connection stuff.
And Jeff's mentioning that smooth slopes are wanted by a bunch of folks. You might not want them in a building on a roof, but some people are specifically looking for those types of parts. So now there isn't really a way to differentiate them, and you're
like I don't get why they're merging the seats parts with the sprue marks, because there's a big difference between those seats. You're gonna see that sprue mark if you have the new one, and if you're building a vintage set, you don't want to see that sprue mark.
Other than for the seat here, other than the vintage thing, it doesn't really affect the part, right?
No, it doesn't affect the part, but it's not authentic to the set if you're building a vintage set.
It makes life easier technically for the sellers, and I guess the buyers that don't know that there's different variants until they get those parts, right? And then they'll complain to the buyers, hey, why do these 2 pieces look different? Right?
Basically, they just want more conflict.
Well, they're trying to clean up the catalog, and I get it, because sometimes if you want to go buy a
apparently they're doing this to ease the workload of the sellers.
Yeah.
Apparently this is a move for the sellers.
I'm a seller, and sure, if you have no old parts, like if you have used parts, you're screwed, because there's so many parts changing. And the other tab I have open here is a spreadsheet that there was another article attached to this with a list of parts that were being replaced, and I've managed to add images to them as well, which thank God for Google Sheets. But we'll pull that up in a few minutes.
This is where I
Stadium
go. This is where I go. Thank heavens I just sell minifigs and sets.
yeah. Well, technically, minifig heads are an issue too. But torsos. There's some torsos that have a special cross pattern inside.
Yeah.
Again, like for Classic Space being one of those torsos, the newer ones have that cross section, I believe, or was it the old ones that do? I can't remember. But if someone's looking for vintage Classic Space minifigs, they're going to be annoyed if they know that there's a difference, right?
Yep. I mean, they want their white minifig to come faded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These are the newer ones, the second release ones. So there we go. Okay. Another one that isn't as bad is I'm trying to find a good example of this. Some of the Technic bricks and stuff they had two different types of cross axle. So there's this style. There's the original cross, and then there's one that's more of an X. So it's got a couple of little tabs. It was them saving plastic or trying to reduce or make the part better. They're merging those together. Again, doesn't really matter if you're just need that part. And no, at the moment they're not doing it for all variants. They're doing it for specific variants.
Yep.
But it also had mentioned somewhere in here that they will do it. They will continue doing it in the future on other parts. So click hinges. X-shaped axle hole. So same thing with the axle hole. Now, Duckbricks did a video earlier today, like a few hours ago, and I watched it, and he was saying that they were merging the bricks with axle holes and the bricks without axle holes together, and that's not what this is. This is the difference of the different style of axle holes. So brick with an axle hole will still exist, and then there'll be a brick without axle hole because there are different styles. So at least it's not that one because that's a functionally different piece. So not doing that. Hinges, hinge bricks, hinge plates. There's some variations that have 7 teeth on the end. There's others that have 9. They're basically saying that doesn't exist anymore. There's one type of brick. It's not even going to say how many teeth it has. It's just going to be, 1x2 locking with finger vertical and.
Again, if you're trying to put together a vintage set, and you have an hinge with 7 teeth and you get one with 9 teeth.
Yeah. The other thing is the cost of these parts are different because the older ones that are vintage are worth more money. So by getting rid of this, you're now basically, yes, from a seller who bought the set originally, whatever, that's going to be like they're not going to be able to sell it for what it used to be worth anymore, because that market is basically getting kind of removed or forced out.
I mean, what you're going to see though is that I think it's true that it's a relatively small niche of people who are reconstituting old sets. And I think that market, they're going to know to ask the question before they order it. So if you have like a full version, I'm going to suggest that people are going to list in the product description, this is the, old version or something like that. I don't know. All
right. So say you're trying to rebuild a cafe corner.
Yes.
And you have one of these click hinge pieces in here that only was available. Sorry, I'm not pointing at I'm pointing at my. Oh yeah, I was pointing at the right one. Say you have one of these parts in here that was only available in that color in this set as the 7-tooth variation, but it's available in another set for a 9-tooth variation, right? The seller that has this part listed for $10-15 is now competing with the same part that's listed for pennies.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
If you as a collector, you're like, oh, I just discovered modulars as of February 1st/15th. The date is kind of in the air because I got an email today saying the 15th, but the article saying the 1st. But as of that day, if you as a collector are going like, oh my God, I want to buy the Cafe Corner, I can't afford the $2,000 set, so I'm going to buy all the parts for it, and then maybe I'll sell it later for $2,000. You're going to go to Bricklink and you're going to say, pull me the parts list. Wow, why is this guy selling this 3-cent piece for $9?
But that's also part of the learning curve. So I did rebrick Cafe Corner, and you know what part I screwed up on?
The window.
The ski.
So the ski.
The white skis that make the fan. there's the skis with a bump, and then there's the skis without the bump. And I had half and half, and when I went to build the thing, you need the bump for it to fan. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that these were different parts. They just looked like they were all the same. So I learned my lesson, you know. I mean, so I went and, you know, got some more of the skis in the right shape.
But here's the thing, man. You learned your lesson. It's like, oh, I need these ones with a bump. How are you going to know that you're going to get that part with the bump?
I'll read through the product description and look for the person that says these are the old version, and I'll buy
it. But Bricklink is merging these things together as of this month, as of February.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing that it's going to make it harder. I'm just saying I think that for the consumer that cares about getting the old school part, they're just going to have to put a little more time and effort into their search than they used to.
Yeah, but my problem is if the consumer doesn't know that this happens, then they're going to be buying parts that don't work anymore. Like, again, this ski is not one of those parts that's being discontinued.
And Bricklink being a reference to
it's our catalog.
The Lego community. You're not if they get rid of those parts or they merge those parts, you're not gonna know. You're gonna look for, and you're gonna go honestly think, oh, I got the right part because Bricklink said so. And then you're gonna have to you go ahead and resell whatever set you put together with the inventory, and the buyers, if you end up with a picky buyer or Dave Cowdice and you're trying to sell him a vintage space set and you have those new torsos for the minifigs, is gonna go, hey, that's not vintage.
But Dave Cowdice is going to send me a cranky email before he orders saying, are you sure that you have the vintage ones?
Well, and so the interesting one, so minifig heads and these rounded bricks as well, they have different variants of the inside of the stud. Some are solid, some have different types of breathing holes, so if a kid swallows it, they can still get a tiny bit of air into their system.
Is that right? Is that
why why minifig heads
that's why they put some holes in them. Yep.
I had no idea.
Airflow could still happen.
That's kind of frightening.
But you're basically wheezing at that point because you're not getting a lot of air through those holes. Anyway, so
they did the same thing with the minifig heads.
So they're basically merging
would put them in their nose. So
there's I think there's references of block stud, vented stud, hollow stud, like 1,100 different items in this category are getting merged into one. Again, the hole size, what's in the hole, doesn't matter mechanically at all. But again, from the completist point of view, the one that worries me, and I found nothing in my spreadsheet for this,
and I have to say that the classic smiley face, I saw a post about it on Facebook I think last week, saying that the classic smiley face has changed. The print on the head is not the same as of today that it was with the let's say the classic space sets. So if you're merging all that together, you're losing that part, the classic space, the classic smiley face. You're losing that part, and the print is actually not the same. It's not located at the same space in the same area on the head. So it's actually two different parts. Why are you merging those parts?
Just to be clear, I'm not saying this is a good thing at all. I'm just saying I think that that consumers who care about this will adjust and shop more carefully and probably ask questions. But you're absolutely right. If you're brand new to rebricking old sets, you're not going to know which question to ask until you mess up, probably.
Yeah. And it's just going to cause a pain for sellers.
Yeah, because you're going to get a ton of if you're selling parts, you're going to get a ton of emails asking for more details about your parts. Is it the 9-click inch or the 7-click inch? Is it the hollow stud head or not the hollow stud head? Is it the tile with groove or is it without groove? So
the tile with groove is the one that worries me because determined entries for very common parts, example 3068B, tile 2x2 with groove, right? So this action will affect 4 entries in total. Limiters such as with groove will be removed from the names. No entries will be merged / removed. So basically, they're just going to change tile 2x2 with groove to tile 2x2. But looking in the catalog, we have 3068A, which is the original tile without a groove, right? It's from the 1965 to 78. And then you have the new one, which is with groove, which has that little groove along the bottom. That went from 72. So between 78 and 72, they had both variants going. But anyways, to current. So, I mean, you're going to know if they're really old parts. You're not going to be buying a new 2x2 without groove, right? Because you're not buying a new part necessarily from 1978, although there are probably a few listed. But the worry is there's a lot of parts that have grooves, like jumpers, right? Like the old 1x2 jumper had a groove variant and a non-groove variant. And if you have a row of jumpers side by side, next time you guys are actually near my Telus building mock, if you look at the very top, I've got different styles of jumpers in there, and I don't like it, but it's just like couldn't be bothered to find all the non-jump or all the non-groove ones. So it's a collection of them, and it doesn't look that great. You're only going to notice it if you get extremely close, at least in my model. But I don't like right now. There's 3 different types of jumper 1x2 jumpers. There's the old style without a groove. There's a new style with a groove, but it's got a single pip in the bottom to hold the 2 studs, like between the 2 studs. And then there's the newest type that has the 4 little pips on the side on the bottom that allow you to offset the jumper by half a stud. That last one is by far the best of all 3 of them. But in my Bricklink store, I have all 3 versions. So that to me worries me. Now, at the looks of it, it's not being affected this time, but if they go to do it in the future, some of those tiles are worth a lot of money.
Yep. And
maybe I'm in a unique position because I bought all of Janie's parts off of her, like that stuff, because in my store I had Janie's parts and my parts. But now there's possibly some parts that will end up having to decrease in value that I paid for. Which, whatever, that's business, right? But that's business. But anyways, they did also post another in the email that I got today, and Dave, you probably got this email as well. There was I'm opening the email as we're talking here. There was another article, or there was a Bricklink sent out stuff to sellers, so this was announced earlier in the year, like early in January, and I just heard about it tonight. And I think a lot of people just heard about it tonight because they got this email from Bricklink. And I'm going to see if I can pop this out.
You want to pop the email?
Well, I'm trying to full screen this email. Because it's attached to my. Oh, I'll just move this over kind of here. That didn't work. You guys don't need to see the rest of my emails coming in. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just.
I got it, Jeff.
There we go. I got it. I figured out how to do it. I'm just not used to.
You don't want to see your OnlyFans email?
Oh man, yeah. You don't need to see my OnlyFans. The people that watch my OnlyFans page. And
get
so
naked, Jeff.
To see me get the 20 cents. Pretty much. Okay. Anyway, so here we go. So on February 15th, the Bricklink catalog will start making some changes involving the few common catalog variations. Exact details of the project have been already announced in the forum. That was that article we just saw. Because this plan includes merging a number of variant entries, those of you who wish to maintain the distinction between those variants will need to add a short line of text in the notes for all your affected lots. We have prepared a page with all the necessary text examples and part numbers, so I'll get to that in a moment. It is much easier to make adjustments before the merge operations are complete, but they can be done afterwards as well if you're willing to go through your parts physically and check. So they're basically giving people 6 19 days to. Okay, my math's really sucked there. 21 days or so to fix this. However, it's our recommendation that sellers do not continue to make distinctions between these variants. We consider them to be relatively unimportant and cumbersome from a viewpoint of the BrickLink marketplace.
Seriously, that's an offensive comment, I think.
If you'd like to, you may leave a comment in the forum about any concerns. So click it on this page. Opened up this list, which basically says frosted bricks. Add text to each of the following listings. So all these part numbers have with frosted horizontal line or whatever as their text, and they're saying, if you want to add this piece of code, this piece of text to the description before it, like 3005 F2 becomes just 3005. Yeah, and boy, did people leave comments. There was a huge amount of comments in this post already. But anyways, so going through, they gave us this information. So with the wonders of the internet and Google Sheets, I basically copied and pasted that list, and I can't zoom in 100%, 200%, and I quickly managed to pull all the parts because visually I can say, oh, I have that part or I don't have that part. So I quickly pulled the list together, and again, frosted bricks are not really something like these are all the old stuff. As personally for me, I'm a new seller. I don't have old stuff, used stuff like this for sale. But anybody who does, you might want to update your descriptions on those. So for example, they're just saying for this piece, the 33-degree slope, replace smooth or add the word smooth in the comment on that part so that people can differentiate it, at least for these 4 parts. And so on and so forth. But it gives you a visual idea of what parts are changing. So some of the wedge plates, bricks, the chair, there's only a few chairs, a bunch of minifig torsos. Again, older 80s torsos at the looks of it. And it only happened for a few years. Wow, even the old castle ones. Oh, no, these are the new castle ones.
Yep.
Oh, so these are the reissues of... Yeah, these are all the reissued figures. Okay. So with plus-shaped axle hole and inside side supports. So a piece like this, the plate with the Technic pin hole, the only difference is there's some that have like this support on the back here is a solid line, and on the older ones there's a gap. So they, again, not a huge structural change, but those parts are still readily available because they've had that gap for a very long time. So here's the axle hole thing. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. I think if I make this bigger, it'll resize. Yeah. So you can see the different style of axle holes. So this is the
axle hole.
Yeah. This is the X shape versus the cross shape.
Jeff, earlier you already made some comment about sticking in the hole or something, and I just like rolled my eyes.
No, filling in the gap.
Filling in the gap. No, he said another thing with the whole thing too. So.
Well, I say lots of things about holes. Anyways, really old tire rims. Again, the 7-tooth versus 9-tooth. And there also was, just let me get down to it here. There's also these parts, and some of them have a groove on the bottom, and some of them don't. So even those are getting like I think the groove is just on the very back because they're a little easier to remove.
Groovy, man.
Oh, actually no, the groove is all the way around. So it's just like that's 2 different changes now.
What if the groove is in the heart?
Groove is in the heart.
Okay. Wow. Thanks, Matt. And then all the printed variations of all these bricks. I'm just going to scroll through this because there was a lot of them.
Thanks, Matt.
The 1x2.
You said with a lot of disdain.
This particular Dupo brick is being merged. Some have bottom tubes, some don't have bottom tubes, and then all the printed variations. And then, like I said, once we get past this,
Duplo.
3 weeks later, 300. Duplo. All right, come on.
Can you, like?
I'm scrolling. Okay, so then we get
all the Duplo things from your Excel sheet.
I could have, but I didn't. I literally made this 20 minutes before the chat, man. Jeez. And then again, the minifig heads and these round
I'm
pieces
getting
with the different
scolded by Jeff.
top pieces, the different areas here, the printed variations, and this literally goes on. Notice 497. If I hit end, control end, and go to 4407, so there's like 3. Dave just left. Oh no, his device is not connected. He just kicked himself out. So there's basically 4,000 minifig heads. Oh, he's back. Why did you do that?
I didn't laugh.
I was about to say
you were scolding me.
I think we're making Jeff as exasperated as that time when he only had like 4 hours of sleep. When we were doing the show.
I've had sleep, but anyways,
and we were all having a great time. And Jeff was like, "Can we just wrap this show up and go to bed?"
Love you, Jeff.
I know, and I know you're just bugging. And anyways, I'm just catching up on chat here. Jude is saying the merge is stupid.
Thank you,
again,
Jude.
You know what? There are times though when I go to Bricklink catalog and I don't want to see all the variants. I just want to see if that brick is available in that color.
Fair,
right? So I can totally understand it, but from the point of view of a buyer, seller, collector, there's issues. When using the buy all function,
there's all kinds of issues. If you're anywhere into collecting or selling parts or buying specific parts, you have problem with this merger.
Yeah. So from a point of view of
and if you're like you said, Jeff, if you're selling specific parts, specific vintage parts, you have an issue too with this merger because, especially like you said, some pieces are that you think had better value than others. They're just gonna be ignored now because people are gonna say, "Why are you selling this piece like 10 times the average sell price of other Bricklink?"
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's when there's an overlap of parts, right? A lot of these pieces are older parts or whatever, so you wouldn't necessarily have that as badly, especially the printed ones. But so basically what I've ended up doing was I went through that whole list and I looked for anything, like I went through all my hinges, and now in the description I have 9 teeth version, which is not right, 9-tooth version, but I'm basically doing it like, 9 teeth. Because I don't know what's going to happen. I might clear that out at some point if no one seems to be caring about it. But anyways, so when you use the buy all function on one list, it doesn't show descriptions. So finding the right store will be a nightmare. The buy all function is now like the auto buy type functions. It's a crapshoot, right? So
if it were me, I mean, I would look for the part and I would just look at this, the stores that have the most parts, and then if I was looking for a very specific variant, I would message them before I place the order anyways. But
so the original video was by RR Sluggers, who I've never heard of until today, but he's got like a 60K following on YouTube.
I saw that.
Chris Giddens actually forwarded it to us, so thank you, Chris. I haven't seen you on the chat, but
thank you, Chris.
Thank you for forwarding it to me at least, because that got my blood boiling an hour before the chat. And getting the email as well. I was like, what? And when I originally read the email, I read our catalogs are changing. So I thought they were talking about the listings of the Lego catalogs, the 1983, North American city. Like, okay, I don't care about that. And then I realized, oh no, it's actually the parts. And people definitely left comments. Here's my start donkey answer. Just put more expensive parts on Bricklink. Brick Owl. Yeah, well, I mean, Brick Owl still has the variations, at least as far as I know. And welcome, Cause, by the way.
That's it. We're all going to Brick Owl tomorrow.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, anyway, that's that. I'm done ranting. I think I was the one rant for this one mainly, because this affects my thing. I mean, it took an hour of my day to fix hopefully everything. But now I'm gonna have to watch out for this for the next few weeks to see what's going on, right?
Yep.
So, but the other topic of discussion, and Dave's already got it up and running, is not Bricklink, but LugBulk.
Yeah. So yeah, we heard we heard that the current problems with the LugBulk program not getting underway because we don't have the list of parts available yet.
Usually first week of January-ish, we get that list. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, hey, did we not get included? Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So a lot of clubs have been wondering because the process is every club that is recognized as a recognized Lego club, they have to send in their list of members who want to participate in the LugBulk program, and they have to do that each year. So they have to each year they have to ask their members, "Do you want to participate in the LugBulk program? If so, give us your name, your email address, and we'll forward that."
And everybody has to have a unique name, unique email address.
Yeah.
You can't double things up. You know,
Yeah.
there's that type of stuff too. Yeah.
So, and because the total amount of each club that each club can order is actually totaled by the number of participants, because each participant has a specific number, well, an amount of money that you can order from the LugBulk program, and you cannot switch over if you're not like buying all the maximum amount of money you can buy. You cannot switch it over to another member. Each member gets his own stuff and his own numbers, and you actually have to comply to these rules. Otherwise, it clearly states, Lego clearly states that you can actually get kicked off the program and not be able to reapply. And over the years, I know that I heard rumors, and again, you have to take that with a grain of salt because it's hearsay and there's not actual proof. But I did hear rumors that people being part of lugs that were getting large orders of LugBulk in, but they couldn't order anything and couldn't buy anything. But they were member of these clubs, and the clubs got in some LugBulk orders. Didn't know where they were from, didn't know who ordered them, but they
So
weren't
there were extra. You mean there were extra parts being included in the order?
Well, they were getting the club was getting an order, but members couldn't order parts. So
what?
Yeah.
So okay, are we talking about?
That sounds very shady.
Yeah, I was confused when you said that earlier in our chats earlier. So are we talking about someone who is part of the lug but maybe hasn't participated enough that they can't get that they're not allowed to order parts?
That's the part of that, like, we don't know.
Okay, but you've heard people say my lug got their parts in and I wasn't able to choose any of them type stuff.
And I wasn't able to order anything.
Yeah,
okay. It's not even just choosing. It's not being able to order, but and according to the rumors, a lot of members couldn't order, but the order got in.
That's really weird. That sounds like someone's ordering in the name of other people. Then that's what
that's and I've heard other rumors saying, well, people are registering their spouses and their kids and adding fictional people to their lug so they can order more parts for themselves.
Yeah, so that one. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. So just as disclosure, I am on the land this year. I took over from Dana as the Peach Lug ambassador. So I am a new land person. So I read the 2 posts from Jordan with my own eyeballs. So I don't know
Jordan
if either of you on the land. I don't
know. But I will say Jordan is a random person that we don't mention his name. We're not supposed to mention. I've heard that.
Right?
Well, everybody I've talked to about it said, let's just leave the person who said it out of this. But anyway.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I read the announcement, and the initial announcement was, as is often the case in the land, fairly vague, that there were some lugs that had violated or abused the rules, and that those, and immediately everyone on the land was like, "Holy cow! I hope it's not our luck."
Yeah, because none of
like,
us have heard anything.
Like,
yeah,
everybody's like flipping out, and then they clarified that that almost everyone that violated has already been contacted. So no news is good news. So like, I'm clicking to my ambassador email account, going, "Okay, nothing. That's excellent." There are no nasty grams, as I call them. So, but then so immediately all of the ambassadors started speculating as to what they meant by violating the rules, and people assumed it was buying Lego for commercial purposes or reselling on Bricklink. And then an official with Lego, I'll leave it vague. An official with Lego clarified that it had to do with adding family members, spouses, or children who are not actually viable members of a lug. And because many of us were saying, well, we have dual household members. We have husbands and wives, or whatever, husbands and husbands that both are interested in Lego. And they clarified,
wives and wives, for the record.
Wives and wives, yes, as well. They have no problem with that. They said basically they just have to be an active member in they have lug. So in our case, in Peach Lug, if there's a spousal situation, they can only order 2 slots if both spouses are dues paying members
and participate, or whatever other requirements your lug has, because every lug is different.
That's the other part you get, is that each lug can implement their own rules to manage their LugBulk portion. So each lug can have its own set of rules for people to either select or buy the parts from the LugBulk program.
Yes.
So basically, what the rent is about is that some club members were like too greedy, and they almost ruined it all for the rest of us.
It seems that way at this point.
Yeah.
And I know that for the Lego team that actually runs the LugBulk program is actually a new team. I think their new team members it's a brand new team.
Yeah, I'd heard that the new management.
So that they're probably looking at the program and looking at the members list with new eyes, and probably seeing things that don't match, and probably things that the old team was not aware of, or
didn't care enough.
And the new team is like, hey, that doesn't work, and
so
that's why probably the list hasn't come out yet, because probably the new team wants everything to be squeaky clean before they unleash the madness.
Here's the part that is a mystery to me. What I'm asked to turn in is a list of members, first name, last name, and age, and that is it. And the age is just to make sure that you have to be 18 or older to participate.
Not email addresses?
We are not asked for email addresses.
Interesting. Okay.
So I mean, if you look, you can see like we have a husband and wife with the same last name, so you can tell that they're likely related. Yeah. But I mean, they don't even have email addresses. So I don't know if they are trying to sync that up with your insider's account or something like that. But it's theoretically possible we could have a lug member who doesn't have an insider's account.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because Lego for the insider, for the VIP, the fan media, or the AFL days, they have that attached to your, like, they know all of our VIP numbers, our card numbers.
We have couples that only use one account.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Why would you? Why would you use 2? Because then you can get your points faster or whatever, right? So, so historically, before LugBulk got as big as it did, they've always had these rules of you have to have a certain number of people in the lug participating, and I think it was 20 people. I think that was the number it used to be. You have to have 20 active members, 20 members. So each person can spend, say, $300. So I'm just throwing that out because I'm not going to say what the actual amounts are. You have $300. You can buy Lego at a slightly reduced cost than what you could buy it through Bricks and Pieces or whatever. And you're allowed to choose 85 parts, all that stuff. But in order, there's a minimum order. You have to order, say, 20 times $300. So you have to order $6,000 worth of Lego. No, 20 times 3,000. Anyway, you know what I mean. You have to order a certain dollar value. So if your order is less than that certain dollar value, as a lug, you can't participate. You could have 20 members, right? But there might be members that don't have the budget to buy parts. So right away, it becomes very hard to fit that goal. So our lug, my lug is now dead. My old lug, Whack-A-Lug, is now dead. I did register my wife at the time as a member of the club, and things like that, because that just popped our numbers up a little bit above that 20, so that we'd have a little bit of leeway, right? And again, this is years ago. At some points, we ended up merging with another club for LugBulk, and that's what they recommend doing, is that if smaller groups can't do it by themselves, you group together with another group. But that then means that you might group yourself with a bunch of train fans and Eurospace fans or something like that. So the 85 part selection drops down a bit because you don't have as many parts that are specific to your lug's interest or whatever, especially if you're doing larger projects. And yes, I know there's fan support, which is a different thing. But years ago, it was a struggle just to get enough people signed up. And I will admit that I think one year we ended up buying parts for BrickFed in the program. We just registered that as a person, because we were buying a certain specific part and we couldn't get it through other ways, and fan support didn't exist at that point. So, but we didn't sell the parts. It was for an event. It came out of our pocket. We paid for it, like, as a club. But I mean, it sounds like this is more the scenario of, I'm going to register my 18-year-old son, my 18-year-old daughter, my ex, my wife, whatever, and I'm going to buy 4 different lots of Lego for myself.
Yeah.
And spend $1,200 and get all these parts, whatever. It sounds like that's what they're going against. Now, through the rumor channel, as in, we know a bunch of ambassadors through different programs, and I'm not going to say who did it, but I've heard that it was a specific lug in a specific part of South America, that they have a large group of people in their lug, but there's only about, like, say, a large group as in 500 people, at least in 2024 or 2014. That was as far back as the information. That's when the information was available. Large group of people, but they only actually have about 30 active members. So they registered the theory is they registered a huge amount of people, 100 people, maybe like that, and then bought parts en masse for those people that were fake registered, which is against the rules, 100%. Because everybody should get their fair share. And why is this guy in this lug getting double the order, and I'm not? So, I mean, again, going back to the spouse thing, if your spouse is active in the group and they're collectors and displayers and not builders, then if you're the builder in the couple, if it comes from the same bank account, anyhow, like, I don't see that as a problem.
I don't see registering your spouse as a problem if your spouse is an active member of not even an active member. If the spouse in question meets the requirements of your lug for ordering LugBulk, that's okay for me, because
I agree.
As we said, each lug has its own set of rules. I know that over at Kellogg, if you want to be part of the selective team, you want to select parts, you need. I know you were going to put that banner up.
You saw my smile.
But if you're part of,
I was confused. I'll be honest. I was like, Kellogg, like the cereal.
Yeah. So I know that if you want to select parts, you have to do shows. You have to participate in shows. You have to actually display something. So, but if you're not participating in shows, but you do show up at a meeting, you can actually order some parts that are selected by the number of people that can select parts. So we do have an opening for people, the newcomers that you want to, great, you want to participate in the club, and you think you don't have enough parts to take part in shows, and you want to build up your collection. Fine, you can participate in LugBulk. You can actually order the parts that we selected, and you can order the amount that you want, and well, to the maximum, but you can actually participate in the program. But you want to select parts, you have to take part of the show. So if you actually register your spouse to Kellogg, and that's good, because it's $20 of contribution that you're giving to the club already. Another $20, fine. But if your spouse or your wants to select some parts, he or she has to take part in some shows.
Yeah,
we've come up with the same system. So with COVID, anyone who was a paid member who wanted to do bulk lug could just participate. But now that COVID's over, one of the issues that we've had is that our membership's been going up, but we felt like it was the same 15, 25 people that did every show. And we were like, okay, fine, we're going to incentivize. If you want to be in the part selection phase, you must attend a show, sit at the tables, tear down. You have to do something. And so we saw a big jump in participation by incentivizing it. And so this year's the list for 2024, we have 70-ish people who are said to be put on the list to order. And of those 70-ish people, about 50 did some kind of participation, and they would then be eligible to help select the element list. So, I mean, I personally kind of like that. We do have some people where we have some members where people have health issues, and it's a lot harder for them to come. We also have people who live far, far away. We have people in other states where there isn't a Lego store or not a very active lug, and so they've asked to join our lug, and it is harder for those people to come to a show.
Hi, Julian. Yeah.
Well, Julian comes to me.
Oh, I know. He's one of those people that's far away.
Julian was here on Saturday, and he's someone that he's not a person we're worried about, but yeah.
For the record, as we're talking, I literally pulled this piece off my table. It was like variants.
Anyway,
yeah. So
Soylent Green is a variant.
Tora Lugs does similar things. You can choose. You give 7 pieces that you can choose from. If you qualify, you meet the requirements for the group. You can choose 7 pieces. Your number 1 piece is guaranteed. 2, 3, and 4 get 2 to 7 get ranked with everything else. And if 7 or if 5 or 10 people have chosen that one, it gets a higher ranking. But it also depends on how many shows you're at. If you've done a lot of shows, your ranking also goes up by a little multiplier. Okay. So if I've done 10 shows and someone else has done 1 show, my part quality or my part selections have a higher ranking than theirs would. Nice. Which I thought that's decent to do. Now, that being said, I'm out of town, so I can't easily go to a lot of shows. So for me, though, LugBulk is a side project, a side thing for, hey, these parts are kind of cool. Maybe I'll get some of those. I'm not building projects off of that because I know I don't want to wait 6 months for those parts or a year for those parts to come in type thing, right? So, so for me, it's just hey, let's get a bunch of animals, or let's get some tractors, or something. Obviously,
Jeff Moneybags is just ordering, because he's just ordering off shop at home if he really needs them.
Give me the parts.
The crappy thing is, though,
I'm exactly the same way. So
yeah. The crappy thing is, though, usually the scheduling of LugBulk, if it comes out in January, by February, end of February, we've already determined what parts we're getting. Most of the voting's done. We know roughly how much to pay. I get my bonus at the end of February, so that a little bit of that money goes to LugBulk. And now it's going to be postponed. So now I'm going to either accidentally spend that money, buy Lego, or not have that money to pay for LugBulk now. It's not huge amounts.
And
it's called a savings account.
And the sad part is that since the whole process is being delayed, that means that probably the shipping and delivery of those LugBulk orders will also be delayed. And usually we get over here in Quebec, we get our orders like sometimes we got it late September, but usually we get it late October, sometimes in November. So,
are you serious?
Yeah.
That's because most times they're not available anyhow.
We have steadily turned around our order as quickly as possible, and I think last year our order was in by mid-February, and we had our parts
by June, July.
Oh, earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
Because usually Kellogg is the we're like in the top 20 clubs to get our order in. Because we're really on the money because to put our order in, and we're always one of the last club to get our order in.
You guys are a fairly large club though too. I don't know if the size.
Yes, we get a very large order. It takes like a day to resort and
how many people
it only takes a day. We take more than a day.
Yeah, it takes a day, but we like rent a place.
An event. Yeah,
it's an event, and there's like 30 members sorting parts and dividing parts into individual lots. So
Dave, I'm interested because I know you guys have like what's your member count these days?
I think because the membership was due to in December, December 31st, and the last I've seen, I think we're up at 195 members.
Okay, so almost 200 members. How many of those would actually participate in LugBulk, would you say?
Well, people can order stuff. I think the list was up to like 80, 85.
Okay. All right, that's definitely a large group. And for a moment there, as Matt was standing up, his blue center part of his shirt matched your shirt, and the dark blue matched your sweater. So I'm just saying, like, it was kind of weird. Yeah.
Look at me, I'm Mighty Dave.
It's like when the two people are like doing the horse costume and somebody's the legs.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I mean, this was a pseudo rant. I don't think we ranted as much as I thought we would. But
yeah, the rant basically is people don't be greedy. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it would.
Don't try to cheat the system.
Yeah,
that's the most important part. If you're trying to cheat the system, you're gonna ruin that beautiful program because it is a great program for all lugs. All recognized lug are really tripping on LugBulk program, but if you're messing it up you're gonna mess it up for everybody else. And
there's two other ways I know people have cheated in the past, and that's in the way of person A in your lug only buys $100 worth of stuff, so he goes to person B saying, "Hey, do you want my other $100, $200?" And they do that, which, I mean, that's a personal choice between those two people, and that's what as lugs I know we've said in the past. Like, we don't need to know what you two are planning together.
Yeah,
that's a choice your way. But I have actually heard of people that have done that they actually participate. I'm in lug A, Dave's in lug B, so I will order, like, my lug has these parts and Dave's lug has those parts, so I'm going to order extra of that part, and Dave's going to order extra of the other part, so that I get maybe more than 85 different parts. For the record, I don't think anybody ever buys all 85 parts.
Okay, so I had a conversation with someone in another lug. Our lug ended up selecting all the parts for the red spaceman.
Okay.
And another lug was doing like the parts for the castle guys.
Okay. Yep.
And me and another person talked about a 1-for-1 trade where like I'll trade you a couple, spacemen for some castle. We ended up not doing it, so it didn't happen. But we had a conversation about it.
Yeah, well, and it does. I think the rules say no trading as well. I don't know how that works.
No, the rules say no
No selling.
No
I thought
selling,
I read
but
somewhere
it doesn't. There's no specific about trading or giving away, because I had like the orange spaceman that I had, and I sent to Jeff and I sent to David because I got them through LugBulk.
Neither of us participated.
I gave them to them because I had no right to sell them to them. So
we did the orange spaceman as well, and Dana in particular and Chris, they got a large number, and they give them away to people at conventions and stuff. So they're like a thank you, like here's an orange spaceman, which it's hard to get.
That's perfectly fine. I had heard someone, maybe the trading thing is in the way of, if you order this part from your lug, I'll order this part from my lug. Again, if money's changing hands between those two people, your ambassador doesn't need to know about it. The lug doesn't need to know about it. That's between you and someone else. But if that person goes and sells that part, then technically, like I'm giving Dave these parts, and then Dave turns around and sells those parts, then technically you're breaking the rules, right? So anyways, there's no way Lego can crack down on that necessarily, but I would say not everybody submit in a fully padded order. Like if there are orders that are not the full amount, don't pad them up if you can help it. I mean, again, if you have 20 people and all 20 people order, but only one person can only spend $100, and you now can't meet your threshold because that one person can't afford $300 of order, right? Then,
well, that's really only an issue if you have a very small lug.
Well, which again, and from historically, like you guys are fairly large lugs. Like K-Lug for sure has had no issues doing LugBulk since probably when it started.
Well, we were actually the first North American lug to get LugBulk.
Yeah,
because when the program started, it wasn't. American clubs weren't allowed to participate, but Canadian clubs weren't allowed to participate. And Kellogg was the first Canadian club to get a LugBulk holder.
And that was because of customs related issues with the states. They had to figure out paperwork and stuff, so they couldn't do the states the first year. But they had better relations with Canada because of free trade agreements or whatever between Denmark and Canada, whatever the case is.
Anti-American bias. I mean, come on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it was still piloting too. They knew if they included the American lugs, it would be a larger group. So
it is interesting on the LAN. I posted a question which is about how you send the money to Denmark, and in the US, if you use PayPal and and you've got a transaction in the US, there's a tax reporting that PayPal's required to do, and so we wanted to make sure that our treasurer wasn't hit with a big tax bill. The government thinking that they had bought like all this Lego stuff, and so
is that bank transfer?
Question. It can be. There's multiple ways. But I posted a question on the LAN, and I got all these like completely different answers from different parts of the world about like how the tax law applies in their country, and it was actually really eye-opening to see how complicated it was. Like I just didn't realize in some places we're talking about like customs issues and just things that were either not at all like us or similar. And it was kind of fascinating how complex something as simple as paying for something as a club was.
Yeah. Well, you should ask Patrick Bégin, because Patrick is usually the one who handles our order, and he makes a bank transfer from IBAN, I think. So
it's IBAN.
We do the bank transfer, but the issue isn't the transfer; it's getting it into the treasurer, and then the treasurer transfers it out of an account to Lego, and how we give the money.
Oh, because everybody's paying him in PayPal.
Yes. So we've talked about write a check, or I think one of the services, like if it's like a direct something, it doesn't count towards the tax counting, whatever. Anyways, I don't want to get too technical, but it's interesting how it's different in country to country.
So sorry, I'm going to say this because I know you guys have gotten your debit like debit is pretty well used now in the
Yeah.
state for transactions. Do you guys have Interact transactions? Does that mean anything to you?
Never
So
heard of it.
I can send Dave via my bank. I can send Dave an Interact transaction, which costs
Okay.
nothing for me to send. But it's basically I'm depositing money into his bank account.
We have something called Zelle that sounds quite similar.
Okay.
It's
So
like
and this is
zero
just done
cost.
through yeah. This
Bank
is
to
just done
bank.
through my bank, and I say I'm sending Dave $20 to his email address, and his email address is registered with the system that says, oh, hey, this should go to this bank, and you can turn it on to just automatically deposit it, or you can use password type thing. So I mean,
in
as a
the
Bricklink
US,
seller,
it's called the EFT, electronic
yeah,
fund transfer.
yes, that's ours. EFTs are different here.
Okay.
EFTs are basically you're paying a bank account number. This
Okay.
is more done through email or phone numbers.
Yeah.
So it's and it's a service that's across Canada through
Yeah,
all banks.
it's like the debit service, but
Yeah.
Okay.
with you're
And it's
going
free.
fully online right now. So
Yeah.
Well, that sounds
so,
like, we have phone apps that will do that, like Zelle and
okay.
Cash App and PayPal. You can send it that way, but typically there's a fee of some sort. But if you do Zelle, which is bank account to bank account in the US, you're typically not paying a fee.
well, there's a fee over here too, because depending on the type of bank account that you have, it's either a service that is included, or you get a small fee for every transaction that you make. I think it's like 50 cents for every transaction. So
Okay.
50 cents to $1, thanks.
Sorry, it looks
that.
like chat's having problems tonight too. Because I'm sorry, as you're talking, I'm getting pings on our family group on the Canadian Brick Builders channel that we have, and both Etienne and Jeff have said that they've lost the ability to chat through Facebook or through YouTube. But Etienne had just said that in the States they still have to sign checks, sign the credit card bill at the restaurant, so there's no speedy payment. I know that's changed recently. I think in the past few years, I think that's getting better.
If you have a chip card, I think you usually don't have to sign.
Yeah.
So if you've got one of the older cards, but the US was much later at adopting the chip than other places.
We were laughing like every time, like early mid 2010s, 2015-ish. I went to Florida and it was like, oh my God, I can't use my chip. Like I had to put my card in the machine, or I think I never had the issue of, they actually had to run it through a machine like paper, but it's not in all places. But it's slowly adopted. It's just funny that Canada adopted that fairly quickly.
I mean, I don't know why. I mean, on a lot of technology things, sometimes the US is ahead of the curve, but it definitely wasn't that time.
And now you can even have your credit card on your phone. So I pay with my phone all the time.
Yeah. My biggest problem is, and I'm going to have this going back down to the States in a couple of weeks, is gas stations. In order to use your credit card at a gas station, you have to enter a zip code. And there is a sequence number to use, but every bank is different, and sometimes it doesn't work. So every time I go to pay at a gas station, I walk into the gas station, and say I need $40 of gas on this, right? And then I like most gas stations, if you only put $30 of gas in, you get that $10 back regardless. You don't have to go back in. But I'm always worried about that because it's like, I don't know your rules of business. I mean, obviously you're going to get the money back, but yeah, it's really sucky. And so we have ESSO here, which is mobile in the States.
Okay.
We also have mobile stations here as well now, but we have an app here that you can just put on your phone, and when you get to the gas pump, you just say, I'm on pump 5, authorizing the payment on your phone. And I was like, okay, I finally set that up on my phone, and I'm like, great, I can go use this at mobile stations in the States. Only works in Canada.
Well, the funny thing is that many of our fast food chains now want you to order through the mobile app. So like if you pull up to a Jimmy John's, or if you pull up to McDonald's, they're like, and would you like to order on our app today? I do use the app for Jimmy John's, which is a sandwich shop. I don't know if they're in Canada or not, but because they give you like, you order X number of sandwiches and you get a free sandwich. So if you use the app, that keeps track of how many sandwiches. So they actually reward you for using the app.
they're also tracking your every move.
They
though.
absolutely are.
They know what you're buying and they know they're training. So I mean, they're getting. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm the number 4 every time with extra pickles. I mean, they know that.
So, Judy's suggesting zip
codes
for you to use.
So when I Google it, I'm seeing things about take the 3 numbers from your postal code and add 00. So our postal codes, unlike your zip codes, are letter, number, letter, number, letter, number.
That's
so
right.
Take those 3 and add 00. So A2B 3C4 would be 23400. And I've tried that and it didn't seem to work for me. So it depends. It seems to be weird in that. So, anyways, I'm still Googling it. Hopefully, I'll figure it out one of these days.
But the upside is that when you get gas in Atlanta, there won't be icicles hanging off as you stand outside in the cold pushing the button. So there is that to look forward to.
I'm based on the weather I've seen so far, it's going to be just above 0 when I leave, like above freezing when I leave here. Again, that's 14 days away, so who knows how accurate it is.
It could change a lot.
Yeah, it'll probably change a lot. So, basically, when I'm leaving, I'm probably already wearing a t-shirt, not wearing a coat in the car, right? Because it'll already be warm, and as I get further down, it'll be even better.
He'll get out at Buffalo, New York in a tank top and shorts because he's like, well, I'm in the States. It's got to be warmer, right?
With 8 feet of snow.
Yeah. But it's in America. It's supposed to be warmer.
We're in the States. It's supposed to be warmer.
Anyways, we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow.
It has flown by, and you guys are probably thinking maybe it hasn't, but it has flown by. We've had a lot to talk about as well. Flown by. Oh, classic. Wait, that's trans yellow.
Yep. I think the trans yellow actually looks good on it.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. Are you going to build a classic space version?
Yes, of course.
Cool. Anyways, it is 2 hours and 10 minutes in. This has been an amazing chat. Thank you guys both for coming out. I am going to pull the plug on this one because 2 hours and 11 minutes. But thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you for those of you in the chat that have been able to chat with us.
Thank you, Matt, for joining.
Thank you, Matt, for joining for sure. It was good. Like as an ambassador, I was ambassador years ago, but that was like 10 years ago. So it's good to have a point of view that is fairly recent, fairly modern, up to date. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week. I will still be here next week, but the following week we'll have to figure something out. See ya. Bye.
We could do it. Oh, you won't be here on Wednesday. I was gonna say we could do it from my Lego room, but yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think two computers or two streams will work in your Lego room.
Well, we could just run it off of one.
Yeah, I know. I'm being sarcastic.
Oh. Hey, we just got new repeaters upstairs, so the signal.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna hit the button now. So see ya. Bye.